Hi guys, welcome back to Chop's Garage. Now since I started the channel I had some fantastic help from other car dealers. They all knew I was starting out afresh. Many of them got stupid amounts of time more in this business than I have, and they've all been very helpful in giving me advice. And one piece of advice I got from pretty much every car dealer and from a lot of the mechanics I speak to is never buy an early EcoBoost engine car. So that goes for the Fiestas, the Ford Focuses, whatever else they've got them in that I don't know about. They always said, don't buy the EcoBoosts. So, firstly, we'll go through why that is and why I've got one, and then we'll go on to why I've got one sat in front of me. So the issue with the early EcoBoosts was that they had a pipe that failed in the engine bay, and it would cause the engine to basically overheat almost instantly. You've got no warning about it at all. So the EcoBoost, fantastic engine, 3-cylinder, puts out 100 or 125 horsepower at this age. It weighs about 40 kilograms less than the diesel engine, so it took quite a bit of weight out the front of the car. And Ford claimed it would average 60 odd miles to the gallon. In reality, owners say it averages more like 45 to the gallon. But you've got the performance of a 1.8 2-litre engine out of a tiny little unit. We'll have a look at how much engine space it takes up, which obviously, as I said, is lighter, and that means the economy's up there. But as with all sort of relatively new engines, you never really know what the score is with them until they've covered some decent mileage. And it was pretty much bang on, as I understand it, between 60 and 80,000 miles on engines between I think it's up to 2014. I can't remember the starting point. They were the engines that would just, like I say, the hose would fail and the car would immediately overheat. I think there also was a problem with the direct injection, that because it was so direct it didn't sort of allow enough fuel in to lubricate valves as well, so I think they could get valve damage. But that's not anywhere near as common as the hose problem. The hose problem was such a problem it was actually recognised as Ford, and cars had a recall to go back in and get the hose done. And if your engine went bang in between, they would actually replace it free of charge. So like I say, it was a bit of a shame because they got the reputation in the industry as being known as eco booms. So the dealers would message me and say, James, what you're doing is right, but avoid the eco booms. So they are known as a bit of a risky package. Now the thing with it is a shame, because in this day and age currently, where fuel prices on diesel are really high and people are trying to keep the cars economical, I think the road tax on this is low. I don't want to say exactly what it is because I often make a mistake based on the month it's registered, but I know the road tax is low on them as well. Like I say, out of a petrol engine, getting about 45 average is great, which means I imagine on the longer runs you can see the 60 mpg. Obviously petrol is cheaper than diesel as well, so at this current time something like this, a family sized car with an engine like that, still gives you decent performance but gives you good fuel economy, cheap running costs, is bang on. So it's a shame that, you know, a car that actually ticks all the boxes right has a reputation like that. This is a Ford Focus Titanium Navigator, so I think Titanium is at the higher end. I think there is a one higher, isn't it, Titanium X, but Titanium is at the higher end, and then this one's Navigator, so it's got the navigation package on it as well. So going on to how I've ended up with it, despite the fact I've been warned on them, I will cover that with you now. This one has come from a dealer part exchange yard, which automatically might start some alarm bells ringing based on what we know about why people part exchange cars as a general rule. Luckily this is from a main dealer, and the person that had it put down a considerable amount of money on getting a brand new electric car, as I understand it. So a lot of people are moving to electric, so that does make a lot of sense. It's a really nice looking car. It's got a full service history. As I said, being a titanium, you've got the alloys, you've got the front parking sensors, the chrome finishers, you've got rear parking sensors on it as well. I quite like this metallic sort of gunmetal-y grey with a tinge of gold to it. Really nice looking. Inside it's really well kitted out. Oh, we've got Bluetooth, cruise control, auxiliary input, I said sat nav, air conditioning, heated front and rear screens, 6-speed gearbox also helping that economy. The car inside is in really good condition. None of the seats have got any marks or tears on them. It's all in really nice nick. I imagine leather is probably the only thing you could do to upgrade it further. Got electric mirrors, electric windows, rear tinted glass. You know, and your normal thing when you're looking around the dealer part exchange yard is have a little walk around and look at the panels, and luckily there's no real damage to any of the panels. There's a few minor little touch-ups here and there. It is a 2014 car after all. But yeah, overall it's a really nice looking car. Retail for it is about 7,195, I think. So you might try and squeeze it into that 6,995 range if you could. So again, bang on for what people want. The mileage on it, like I say, on this one is 70,000 miles. So it's bang on that point where you get the warning that between 60, I think it was between 60 and 80,000 miles is when the problems can happen if the recall hasn't been done. So why did I ignore that advice? Well, I went into the dealer's yard and I was told this one was there, and to be honest, I was ready to say no to it straight away. Even though it has, like I said, a full service history. That is until I got into the engine bay. So, as always, one of the first things I want to do is see how the car's been maintained. Got a little handle over here somewhere. There we go. Now obviously we have the service history. Excuse me 1 second. We have the service history, but I'd like to have a little look at the engine bay. Now one of the first things I noticed was the brand new coolant bottle here. Absolutely brand new, crystal clear, absolutely new coolant in it. As I look further, noticed how clean the turbo was. Noticed the copper washer here, how clean that bolt was, and I started noticing things like the bolts here. All brand new. Over here, the little collar on the end of the camshaft there, brand new. Started looking down here, all this looked new, and then looking down the side of the engine here, I don't know if you guys can see it as clearly as I can, it's clean as a whistle. All the belts down there are brand new, and the sump is clean as a whistle. So, having an Instagram channel and a TikTok channel, while I was out there, I thought this just doesn't look right. I'm going to sort of put a shout out there. So I filmed a little clip of the engine bay and said, you know, what's going on here? It's an eco boom. Should I run a mile? What's going on here? Because to me, the engine looks absolutely brand new. Now at this point I get a message, and this is what I absolutely love about my channel. I've got to thank you all so much for the help you give me on my channel. I get a message from a chap called Joel who works at Ford, and he pulls up a report. Let me just read it for you. I won't give his full name on here because I don't know how keen Ford are for letting this information come out. But he said, I've got onto the system, James, I've looked up the reg, and it says here, check for overheating, carry out cooling pressure test, R&I plugs, carry out SBD, R&I engine assembly, swap over all parts, replace bottle degas hose, replace turbo assembly due to overheating. So basically what he told me was that this thing has had a new engine, crate engine from Ford, so brand new engine from Ford in March 2022. So just a few months ago this had a brand new engine put in by Ford due to the overheating problem, which all credit to them. That's quite late in the game to be doing it, isn't it? So they replaced the turbo, they replaced the entire engine, and it's the top half and the bottom half. Looking at it all, they replaced the whole lot. So I don't know, in my book that makes this pretty risk-free. I mean, I know that other ones that the modification has been done on are on their original engines and have gone well over 100,000 miles, so they can do it if the modification has been done. But if you happen to be unlucky enough to get one where the modification hasn't been done and you're buying it around that 60 to 80,000 mark, it can be a ticking time bomb for you. And I don't know what the score is with when Ford will replace the engine, under what circumstances they will. So that is the reason why, despite all the advice I've been given, I figured that this was a decent retail buy. Like I say, the rest of the car is really clean and tidy. Other than this, it's got a full service history. The gentleman's going to send me across the documentation to prove the engine swap from Ford. But based on the screenshot he sent me, I'm pretty confident that he knows exactly what he's talking about. And so now what we've got is a 2014 car, albeit with 70,000 miles on the clock, but with a brand new engine in it. So I think that that should be a pretty safe bet to retail. But I'll be interested in your thoughts on it. Would you still say that it's a good purchase, or do you know better than me and say that there are more problems with these EcoBoosts over and above the one I've just highlighted? But I just can't see how a crate engine with, I mean, goodness knows, it can't have more than 1,000 miles or so on it. I really can't see how that would be a problem. It'd be interesting to try and understand the mindset of the person that had that engine work done as to why they then got a new car. It is funny how sometimes people, you know, I guess the inconvenience of having the car off the road, having the engine fitted, having the problem in the first place, and then having the engine fitted and the inconvenience, they probably had to jump through hoops to get the engine put in the first place. I don't know how keen Ford are to do that. I don't know if they were given a loan car while it was done. They might have just decided that was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to having combustion engines, and that's what pushed them into then getting an electric car. I guess we're never really going to know on that front. But massive thanks up to Joel for getting me that report over. Again, that's the power of the channel. Absolutely fantastic job on that. Yeah, like I say, let me know your comments down below. What do you think?